Flight Boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You know, I listen to the Mind of Terry Smooth, Flight Boss, the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And that's help every motherfucking body, even my goddamn self. So right now, this video is about the Nut and Geb illusion and the Egypt conspiracy that's built upon this mythology. Now, this is what we need to understand for the most part, that what you've been doing now is what you always been doing. And we know that. No matter what vessel or body you took. So you have to be careful by clinging on to old civilizations. Because we're going to break it down. This is what you need to understand first and foremost. What you've been doing now is what you always been doing. So take that outside of yourself and place that within the civilization. The society and civilization right now that's going now is what we doing now is what we always been doing, right? So our ways of looking at it may be different, but there's a certain pattern behind the scenes that plays as a backdrop that shows similar traits of why we look at things and the way we look at it as far as a society. Now, take yourself out of that and then look at the planets. In some way, shape, or form, you have to come to the conclusion that whatever they're doing now is what they always been doing, because this is how we're able to calculate the patterns between what y'all think is night and day. So if it's gonna do it tomorrow, it makes sense to make you think, okay, it must have did that yesterday, and it must have did that 10 years ago, and it must have been doing that 100 years ago, and it must have been doing that 200 years ago. So there's an energy frequency that's moving in the world that lets you understand that what's going on now was always going on. Now, and your ability to change your pattern helps you spiritually, and then some people fall short to certain patterns and illusions, so they fall spiritually, and some people rise spiritually by their ability to cancel certain pattern experiences. Okay, now as we get this out the way, you understand that. Now, when we go back to the ancient civilization, one thing you got to understand is there's an energy frequency vibration that's playing out that's dealing with popularity. So we're dealing with celebrities and popularity, and we're dealing with government and structure in some type of way. Because when you look at books that's authorized now, when you go to schools and look at and see what teachers are allowed to teach and what they are not allowed to teach, and when you go within these schools, what's being sanctioned to teach, all this is controlled and ruled by a certain structure or government, right? So for these things to get sanctioned for a large amount of group of people to agree to those terms and conditions that this should be taught, or, you know what I'm saying, or society should be in this way, it had to be some form of authority. So this is where you get the concept of kings and queens and pharaohs and things of that nature. So we're going to go a little deeper now. And even gods, right? Because this ushered in lords. This ushered in people who walk this earth who has such an impact on the thought forms and the emotional awareness of other people that they was always able to remember. So these people, shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable gas, their spirit became big enough because the information they received within their experience gained enough information to when they die off, they was able to take bigger vessels. But then you got animal worship also, because some of these spirits wanted to come back down here and experience this, so they get brought back down through animals and things of that nature. This is where you got the animal worship. But and making statues and things and making animal feature kind of beings and stuff. But before we get to that, we need to understand something clearly. When we talk about things being sentient and things being allowed to be taught, and being allowed to be wrote down, when you go back into the ancient times and Egypt and stuff like that, and see things wrote on the walls, and see things wrote down, and seeing a large amount of groupings of people adding on to this lets you know this is a form of structure and authority and things being sanctioned. So this is a popularity contest. We're talking about celebrities and stars and people who are in authority and people who already have resources over others and people who are already have government type tactics pushing these things into the world. And these were the figures that was causing hectic and chaos on the land that they was on, and then that energy, frequency, vibration that they was emitting was allowing them to be perceived in certain ways, which would allow other people to prey, and they became predators. So prey came from fear. You know what I'm saying? All forms of preying came from fear. So anytime you scared or something not going your way, you pray to get out of that circumstance or situation. So these guys these people, well, beings back then was some of the first people that pushed that mind state into the world. So some of their ideas and theologies and ways of living still exist on this world. And a large amount of the society agree to those terms and conditions in different areas. So what happens here is that being is still alive as an oversoul. So that being, shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable gas, is so huge, it's able to take a body or a light body, which we all are, as like the sun or a large planet or things of that nature. So here's where we start coming to praise nut and gab and things of that nature. But we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna slowly break y'all down so y'all can clearly understand. You know what I'm saying? Where people get it fucked up. Everybody get it fucked up. Now, when you talking about things being sanctioned and things being loud, now I'm gonna be honest with you. Now, when you learn the most wisdom and things of that nature, this is where you get the saying, in these times, somebody could be book smart or street smart. And you'll have somebody telling you that people who go through a lot of bad situations or people who street smart are actually more wise in life than a person who's book smart. So this is what you need to understand. Back in those ancient times, the people who was writing on the walls and stuff and things of that nature and going by that system, they was back then perceived as book smart. Now, if we want to go back to an old civilization and really understand some real shit that was going on, we would have to find somebody like us. We can't be finding people like Jesus or Nut and Gab and TEFNUT and all these motherfuckers. Fuck them niggas. Them niggas was already in authority and shit like that. That's almost like us digging up George Washington, or that's almost like us wanting to let's say right now, motherfucking George fucking the presidents. I'll be forgetting their motherfucking names, but the presidents you got, and then today you got Donald Trump. That's like 2,000 years from now, people trying to dig up Donald Trump like whatever Donald Trump knew was what the real ancients were supposed to know. Because 2,000 years from now, this would be ancient. So if you're going back, that's what like TEFNUT and trying to think about what Gab is. That's like trying to dig up the presidents and the kings and queens back then and then you got religious and black people in the conscious community trying to correlate to that like that's right. No, if we want to find any kind of knowledge or anything like that, we would have to find somebody like us in those times. Somebody who ain't in the system or government, or who ain't gonna be put in no Bible or put on no text because they have some type of authority or some type of resources. We gonna have to find somebody like us in those times who talk like how we talking now. We will have to find somebody like that in those times, and those motherfuckers are lost and forgotten. See, all the niggas y'all clinging to like, oh, these niggas was remembered and shit like that. Think about the reasons of why niggas is remembered nowadays. It's always cause some fuck shit. Niggas ain't remembered cause of the good shit they did. They only remember cause of the fuck shit they did, or all the fuck shit they had to do some good shit. You see what I'm saying? The more you slow yourself down and do some fuck shit, but the better you know how to create excuses and ideas of why you had to use that to create to create the good shit. That story itself is what people think of as success, but truly neither of those are success. So this is what you have to understand. So when we look at the most popular thing that was going on, when we talk about ancient, this is a popularity contest. So now when we talk about ancient pyramids and stuff like that, you have to look at that like how we look at buildings now. This was some government system or something like that, and some authority made these motherfuckers build something for somebody else. So when you look at, because when you look at a building now, this building is built for business. That business is a body that somebody embodies, a creation that they have put out, or an imagination or a thought that they have put out that a higher spirit that's looking for a body can take. Or this spirit can use as another body in the fourth dimension, because it's already utilizing a 2-dimensional and a 3-dimensional body as far as a soul and a 1-dimensional body. As far as that soul going into the astral realm and going to the 3D physical realm, it was coming out of the zero. So when you understand then that the things that y'all clinging to is like clinging to the presidents and shit like that and what's famous now you have to understand that it's almost was like slavery back then. So whoever built those pyramids were slaves. And y'all motherfuckers look at these motherfuckers like y'all worship them like they was doing something that we're not doing now. No, whatever we're doing now is what always been done. So whoever built those goddamn pyramids was motherfucking slaves to us, to a certain degree. Same way people who got jobs now and they built the motherfucking infrastructure of buildings that you see today. So however you want to look at it, this, that, and the third, buildings are built for people's businesses to be embodied. That pyramid was built for something to be embodied. So it was some authority and some structure back then. And then if you're looking at what was most popular, it's a popularity contest. So these are not, so I broke down to you why they're looked at the way they looked at things. So Geb and Net and all these motherfucking TEFNUT and all this shit, these are not shits to be worshipped. These are beings that was here that want to take on the energy, frequency, vibration of what was already here. That's like somebody coming into the light. I come in the name of Jesus. I come in the light of God. That's somebody who's coming in the form of God. They want to speak for God. That's a form. They want to come in the body of God. That's the light. You see what I'm saying? And they want to, so they're speaking for God. They truly don't even know God actions. And then they're saying they're coming in the name of Jesus. And Jesus was a motherfucker doing the same thing that they're doing. So they just want to be a preacher or whatever. Just want to be another man. That was a person who did what they doing before them, walking the earth. And that motherfucker was trying to play the role of, you see what I'm saying? Coming in the name of something. So when you look at TEFNUT and Geb, this was a queen and this was a king. Now, this is still patriarch shit, because the earth that we're on, we know it's a feminine energy. But if you go back to this is automatically taking you into still worshiping male and helio shit. Because it comes from helio. It's a helio type of religion, or a helio type of way they was looking at things. It's called helio, they book or whatever. Or where it come from, where this idea came from. And then on top of that, we know for a fact the earth we on is a feminine energy. And the earth element itself is feminine energy. It's yin. Air is yang. Fire is yang. Water is yin. Yin is practicality, thinking, making sense, growth, nourishment. You see, caring. That's yin. But y'all motherfuckers want to go back and say fucking Geb is earth and Geb is a motherfucking nigga. A nigga with a dick. What the fuck is y'all talking about? And y'all want to say, and Geb, fucking, yeah, nothing Geb, whatever one is which. I think the earth is, hold on, let me make sure. Let me make sure, because y'all motherfuckers want to beat me up, because I don't give a fuck about the word nut or Geb, which that's correlating to nut and a motherfucking organ. You see what I'm saying? Now, okay, Nut, yeah, Nut is the goddess, and Geb is the mother. Geb is fucking earth, and this is a feminine energy. And then y'all trying to correlate it because y'all don't understand how to differentiate between what's astral and what's not, and what's unknown about you is what you're seeing that's unknown. But y'all trying to correlate it to other shit, and now y'all trying to say Nut is what's ahead of you, and this, that, and the third. And it's just y'all get conflated. This entities or beings that walk the earth that in these times, the way they looked at things, they hold the authority over that. So same way a president or a king or queen hold over authority, back then, Geb would be like, okay, I rule earth. And back then, Nut would be like, okay, well, I rule where everything come from. You see what I'm saying? Where all the things come from. So as they was ruling on earth, as they was coming together, this was one of the things that people was trying to correlate to what's going on within the mind. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, this is back then how people saying the Bible and Christianity is about astrology in the mind. Back then, this was just people taking on that energy. Like, okay, we control this portion. She thinks, okay, not like, okay, since I'm a female and I can have life, then I'm doing what the stars is doing, bringing life. And then the male say, okay, since I'm here to rule and control shit, okay, this is what I'm doing here. I keep things in order. So I'm like, I rule the earth structure. So they're not literally the motherfucking earth and shit like that. You see what I'm saying? The only thing that's understood here is they understand that everything is a body. Small organisms coming together to create a organ. The organs create organizations. So it's like bodies. So what they understood that the same way you got all your cells come together to create all of you, is a micro version of all the stars coming together and create a body. So they understood that each star was a being. Oh, they understand that each star was a being, right? And each star, and when all stars come together, it can be inhabited by a bigger being. Now, all stars are forms of bodies, forms of lights. So they got created from. And then this is another thing. All religions start from the energy realm. You got frequency, vibration, energy. All religions, for some reason, all ancient texts start only at the energy realm. This is why all your religions, you already got some form of water. You already got some form of vibration. You already got some form of spirit. You already got some form of frequency or conscious. You see what I'm saying? No religion start there. All religions start in the energy. You already got the physical form and shape of something. You see what I'm saying? Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Don't pay attention to shit. If you want to understand the frequency and the vibration realm, the spirit and the soul realm, I guess my videos on the internet is the only ones that talk about that. It's fucked up. Everybody, and then everybody will say, I don't know what I'm talking about because they're going to go to the ancients and what they talking about. And I'm here letting you know, as an archangel, with the spirit, that your ancient civilization stopped at the energy realm. When things are already taking shape and form. This is why it's already some type of water or something like that. Or some type of waters. AKA, they don't explain how the vibrational world got here. And the souls. You understand that? Then it's already a spirit here that predated you. So they don't talk about the birth of the spirit in the spirit world. Yet, all the creation that y'all cling to automatically ties to the energy realm. So all your religions start at the energy realm. So all your religions start when his body's already here. When his being's already here. So I don't care how light beings they was. How light in density they was. They was a form of a body. Yes, I was a motherfucking spirit. And I know how to ride sound and ride light. But as a spirit, I'm not the sound and I'm not the light. I utilize these things to make them dense. Now you want to know how to create fucking light? It's frequency and vibrations emitting. So me as a spirit, me becoming an individual spirit, having my own idea of my astral travel, I became a soul. I became a vibration. I became a movement, motion. I experienced my line of events, my idea, my frequency, my spirit. I start to experience it at the individual. I became a soul. Now as a soul, I'm traveling in the astral realm as a shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable gas, looking for light, looking for form. Because if I don't, I might scatter going through all these different frequency vibrations. Because every space is space within spaces. All spaces is different worlds. Because they've been accumulating. So as I'm going through these motherfuckers, I might go through a realm, an astral realm that's controlled by a bigger shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable gas that preceded me there. Now, him being there or her being there, right? They so big that they could take on a bunch of different bodies at one time and control them all. AKA, you got a hand. This is a part of you, but it's not all of you. So this is a whole world of itself. You got this from a whole nother world. You see what I'm saying? Y'all ain't deep. Y'all motherfuckers don't know shit about history. Fuck history. I'm tired of all these fucking black conscious motherfuckers thinking they know they got the wrong perception and they taking their perception from this shit. You motherfuckers don't know shit. Now as a shapeless, formless, odor, I'm explaining the realm before we get to y'all weak ass religions and theologies and shit. Now, I'm searching for a fucking light, so I have to emit it. So light comes from what's enticing me based upon my vibrations. This entices my directions. So if I want to move forward, I feel forward. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm moving forward. If I want to move to the right, I feel like I'm moving righteous. If I want to move up, it's all kind of ways to travel in the astral realm. I feel optimistic. I feel upbeat. But through this motherfucking travel, frequency vibrations in these locations may share certain frequencies. So it'll attract me. And once I travel through that so I don't scatter, aka you can scatter your conscious here just by daydreaming too fucking much. Get back here, take shape and form. So you do that in the astral realm. So I don't scatter, I need a fucking body. Now as I'm traveling, boom, I go into another bigger shape and form older than this non-flammable gas that this spirit conscious can control a lot of bodies. So all these lights and influences, y'all will look at them as part of constellations or something like that. But all that's one is a body with a spirit inside it, a dark, unseen, unknowns. You can't see that world. We talking about this world right now that y'all can't see, that y'all try to correlate to shit that y'all can see. Fuck y'all. Now look, motherfucking, once I get into that realm, it start to cause friction. With my frequency vibration and that frequency vibration and those lights and influences, boom, between those create another light that I get to engineer with those elements that's in there to sustain myself. And with that body, boom, that's a light that's emitted. Boom, I can take that sound, I can take that light as a vessel to sustain myself in that realm of reality and that rotation into everything that's rotating until I start taking shape and form into that shit. And then my spirit is taking the body and the elements of everything that's taking form within that rotation to the point that I can be birthed into that world. To the point that it looked to y'all as a motherfucking idea or thought or a conscious spirit or something, or an idea that went into a motherfucker's headspace and made this nigga start creating circumstances, situations, and fluids in his body to come together, and that was the light to how y'all would look at it in y'all dimension. And then that's me as a spirit taking on them lights and living in that world, boom, 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 coming out and having those kind of bodies, which will be all kind of nucleuses and sperm cells and shit like that, boom, boom. I got that body and come out in that semen world, going to the mother, then come out in this motherfucking world in my archangel fucking Uriel. And then we get to y'all motherfucking religious. Oh, first at the beginning it was the spirit over the waters. Motherfucker. Flight bus, bitch. Goddamn air. That's the fucking nut and gab illusion and the Egypt conspiracy. Flight bus, bitch. We need to get a little higher. Let's get a little higher. Stop clinging on to celebrities and stars and who was popular just because they was popular way before your motherfucking monkey ass. Flight boss, bitch. Goddamn.